Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Mac.
And today we're giving our first impressions on Stamp Swap.
Ooh, you did it.
But we will see if I say that correctly throughout the rest of this first impression. But this is the most recent game from Stonemaier Games. I think it's their final release of 2024. I had kind of guessed that it was going to be a stamp-themed game when they sent out I think it was the champion shirt or what it was going to look like. It had all their games, and it had kind of the dragon symbol, so their newer game that was kind of a little bit bigger than the rest of them, just showing it was like a 2024. And then they were all kind of in like these stamps, or it looked like they were rectangles, squares, stamps, and I'm like, that seems like a weird choice to just randomly do. It's nothing that I've ever seen Stonemaier do with, they usually use like the hexagon or something, so it was just like, that's a little interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a stamp-themed game, and it was. And yeah, this one, I'll say I was not the most excited for when I heard kind of what it was, because I think, I don't know why, but we played Fit to Print, and for some reason, I absolutely loved that game after one play, after not, like going into it like, I don't know about this. And I think at first, though, I also did not know it was like a timed game. But then once that element was in there, I don't know, I just had a ton of fun with it. Unexpected. And then this one, for some reason, it's not the same, but it felt similar to me. It's like, oh, you're going to be putting these stamps down, but it doesn't have a timed element, which is kind of what, I don't know, makes that a little bit funner. And I was just like, I don't know if this will be as interesting. So I was kind of mixed on it. I guess I don't hate the thought of stamps, collecting stamps, but I've never done it myself, so maybe if I was a big collector, it would have been a little bit more of an interesting theme to me. Are you a big collector of stamps? Would you be?
I don't think you know this, but I actually did have a stamp collection. Like, not like anything cool or professional.
Nothing like this?
But I think I had found like this huge envelopes of stamps at some sale or something, and I went home and I like put a book together of like different stamps. I don't have it anymore. I threw it out.
Why'd you throw it out?
I don't know. I was cleaning my room and growing up, and I was like, maybe it's still somewhere.
So much for being a stamp collector.
I know, but I had fun with those stamps I probably kept that book for quite a few years.
Wow. If I had that much fun with something, that would definitely be, I'm cleaning up the nets. Throw that off.
It was kind of like a school project. I think I got it at like 10, and I just like spent my time putting stamps and do this like book. It wasn't anything crazy or nice.
Okay, so you're saying this theme was something you were very interested in.
I was interested. Okay. Actually, I thought like super cool. Okay. Like, I'm kind of interested to see, just because I had it's not a teeny bit of stamping in my past.
I will say it's not a thing. It's not like a theme that's off-putting to me. It's just I'm in the middle on it. I don't get excited.
You want another space game?
No, I don't even like space games. I don't like that theme at all.
You want another farmer game?
When you compare space to stamp collecting is far above space for me.
All right. Yes. So I was intrigued by the by the theme.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, then what were your thoughts then once we actually got into the game? Learned the game, got into it.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking of Fit to Print, where we had that board out there, and I was like, oh boy, we're gonna fill this whole thing, and it's gonna be like a whole fit of like trying to squeeze everything in there. And that was not the case at all. So. But I think it's pretty straightforward. You have 5 different colors of stamps, 5 different types of stamps, and then different sizes that they can be. And I thought that was really cool. I like that simplicity of it. I like the idea of drafting your stamps, which is fun. But the swap element definitely kind of brought something to the table on that. So, as we kind of went through it, I was like, all right, there are things I like, some things I'm a little nervous about, but overall, I thought it was a pretty good medium weight game.
Yeah, and we played it at 2 players specifically, so it'll play maybe a little bit different with more players, because you'd have more people to kind of swap with, swap your stamps with. But yeah, I thought even at 2 players, I ended up liking the game more than I had originally thought I might, which was good. I actually was like, this is pretty solid, actually. There was a little bit more to it than I thought. I loved, drafting your stamps. I love that there's some kind of upside down and some face up. That's really kind of a clever thing where sometimes you'll know what something is and your opponent won't. And that kind of played into our game a little bit. You can try to deceive your opponent with maybe something that's really good. There are some of these chocolate-themed gold ones that don't go towards the symbol things or the colors, but they're just straight up victory points. And those can be very enticing to your opponents. And yeah, I just like also that when you're drafting them, you get kind of 6 things. It's mostly stamps, but then sometimes there's some cards and stuff you can draft as well. But then you get to keep one of those things. Outside of, you cannot keep the gold foil ones. So those are too good. Those are too good.
You have to put them in the pool.
You have to put them into the pool. Yes, you do.
Which makes no sense. Why would you swap your pretty ones?
All right. Doesn't really, but you never know. But I do like that you get to at least keep something in case, you're like, that would be perfect. As long as they don't draft it first, I'll draft that, and I can keep that. I don't have to worry about putting it out there on the line and losing it. You can still take that risk if you wanted to, you're like, well, I really want that one, but I don't think they really want it, and they'd be more likely to want this one, so I'm going to take that because I also want that one.
Yeah.
And
it's playing with what's face up versus face down.
Yeah, so. That is the biggest thing. If there wasn't the face down element of them, I think it would definitely change the game. And actually, on our last round that we did, there was 3 rounds, and most of the time there are more face up than face down. We had this one card that you kind of did the opposite, so a lot of them were face down, and that was a round you really did a number on me.
That was such a
because
challenge.
You happened to have 1 face up of the gold ones, and then you had 2 face down. And then you enticed me into taking the one that was face up. I was thinking, why would she do this? But then I was like thinking, maybe she's thinking that I'll think because she put it here that I wouldn't. It really gets to be that type of game if you like that. And you did get me to take that. And then it was -2 points. As I'm revealing these other 3 stamps that were with it, -2, -2, 3. And then what do you reveal? You got 2 gold-plated ones on yours, and then another couple good things you wanted.
I did not know how to split that. That was brutal. I was like, that gave me so much anxiety. Because I'm like, this pile is terrible for me. This pile is excellent. How do I make sure he takes this?
How do I trick him into being a dummy? And you did.
Yeah.
I think after that one play, I mean, we'll see. I also, there's an element to the game where there are kind of 4 goals that are out there at the beginning of the game. And throughout the game, at the end of each round, so there's 3 rounds, you'll get to score one of them, so it'll be one you don't score. I like that element of being able to choose which one you score. Your opponent can pick the same one as you, potentially, or, you can do it in different orders. You don't have to follow what your opponents do at all, which I think is really cool. And then there's a end game scoring thing as well, which everyone will score at the very end of the game. It just kind of mixes all those things together really well. And yeah, I was really impressed, and it actually made me more interested in stamp collecting as we were doing. Looking at the tiles. The artwork was really good. I really love this cover. I think it's a top cover, just the way they kind of put this all together and the colors on there. I'm trying to think if there's any major negatives that I noticed. Maybe, I don't know that there was too many that I was confused. There's maybe a couple stamps where I was confused as to maybe what it was 100%. Sometimes I would joke and be like, oh, this is definitely, because I needed vehicle stamps. And some were like
got
space.
A spaceship in the background.
Someone's got a space. I mean, I think someone could travel in that. That could be a vehicle.
Definitely a vehicle stamp.
And then I saw a bird. I'm like, that's a bit of a vehicle for a little rodent riding the bird.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, I'd probably give this one. I don't want to go too high. I don't want to get too excited. But yeah, probably I'll just stick with a 7.5 for now. Was pretty enjoyable, and I look forward to playing it some more. And I'm very happy with that because I mean, I really liked Wormspan as well, but I think kind of the year before that, I was kind of a bit of a low for me in Stonemaier Games. So I love that this actually really hit the spot as kind of it's more of a filler game than maybe some of their more recent ones have been kind of bigger end of the night type games. You could play this one at the end of the night, but I would call this one closer to kind of a Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig style game where I think it's going to be pretty quick and a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably give it an 8, which I wouldn't say is super high, but not at all low.
It's pretty high for you.
Yeah,
you follow the Board Game Geek rankings a little bit better than I do. I think.
I don't come
it's
out
pretty high for you.
Swinging normally, and so yeah, I
think
think
this
is
pretty good.
I think this is going to be good. I am really interested to see how this plays at like a higher player count.
Because we were pretty much just at a 2-player game. You're getting half of what you had picked, and your opponent's getting the other half. So in more players, you can kind of pick from someone else. They can pick from. So you got a little bit more. But
I think that's just really going to mitigate your score probably on what you can get because you just really don't have a lot of control over who's picking the other things. So what gets left, is going to be interesting, I think, when we play it at a higher player count. But that being said, I did think it was decent at 2-player. And since we play a lot of games at 2-player in our house, that makes me all the more happy and why I'm pushing it to the 8.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that was part of one of my other initial concerns was I was like, we play a lot of games at 2-player, and from the concept of kind of watching a couple videos and stuff on it, I was like, I don't know if this is going to play well at 2, or if it's going to be one that you need more players. But yeah, I would agree. It plays well at 2.
Yeah, we had some good fun.
Yes.
You're married to someone for 7 years, and you're like, ugh, how do I make him take this? It's
really a lot of fun when she tricks you into it and beats you by 50 points.
Marriage.
She's like, how do you get to this 150? And then does it easily. Easily does it in the first game.
I don't know, maybe I miscounted somewhere in there. We know I'm not great at that.
But we'll find out. You scored a lot. You scored a lot on the stamps.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to get a look at some of the components and stuff that are in this game, check out our unboxing video that'll be going up alongside this. Subscribe if you like the content. Give us a thumbs up. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.